Have you ever stopped to reflect on the reason why you wake up every day? I'm not talking about the alarm clock going off, nor the automatic habits like getting up, brushing your teeth, and rushing to fulfill obligations. I'm referring to something deeper, the invisible drive, the silent purpose that lies behind your eyes opening before the day even begins. Many people wake up simply because they have to, and so the body rises, but the soul remains asleep. The mind stays numb, as if each day were just a repetition of the one before. Without noticing, weeks, months, and years pass in a whirlwind, without light, without direction, without fullness of life. But what if life were calling you to something greater? What if the way you start your day is the key to everything you've been asking for in prayer? Peace, clarity, prosperity, transformation. And what if it didn't come from an external change, but from transforming the way you begin your mornings? Waking up with purpose is not just about waking up early, but waking up consciously. It's about understanding that your very first thought of the day can ignite a flame of faith or trigger an avalanche of doubt. And the choice is yours. We live in a generation that falls asleep with the phone in hand and wakes up immersed in the chaos of the world. Notifications, messages, news. Before even remembering who they really are, people are already reacting to the world. The mind becomes a battlefield before coffee is even served. How can we expect clarity if the day begins in confusion? The truth is simple. If you keep living on autopilot, life will keep delivering autopilot results, and nothing changes when we're on autopilot. Nothing blossoms without intention. Truly waking up is not just opening your eyes, but opening your awareness. This act requires courage. It's an affirmation. Today, I choose to create my own path instead of following what the world imposes on me. Do you want to change your life? Start by changing the way you step into it every day. God didn't create you to just survive Mondays and anxiously wait for Fridays. He created you to live meaningful days, even in the most ordinary moments. But this requires a daily commitment to your soul, a reunion with your essence. And that reunion usually happens in the silence of the morning. In the silence where no one has called you yet, where no tasks have been assigned. It's in that moment that God speaks the most. He reminds you who you are, what you can become, and everything that is prepared for you. It is there, before the noise, that clarity is born. The Holy Spirit does not shout, He whispers, and only those willing to quiet the world can hear their own soul. Are you willing? Everyone wants transformation, but few are willing to wake up earlier to seek it. And it's not about a heroic effort, but a simple, sincere step. Rise with intention, sit in silence, breathe deeply, and say to yourself, "Today, I choose to be present." If you want a new life, start with a new beginning. And that new beginning is the first hour of your day. It's when the world is still asleep and the sky seems to say, "Rise up." The Bible already knew this. It is written in Isaiah 61, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." This is not just a beautiful phrase, but a summons, a spiritual command to stop crawling and start shining, to stop hiding behind excuses and embrace life with faith and firmness, because the light has already come. The opportunity is already being born. But only those who are awake will see it. That's why the way you wake up is so important, because it defines whether you are hiding from life or running toward the purpose God has prepared for you. Maybe you say, "But I don't have the energy for that. My life is a mess." I understand you, but that is exactly why this change is essential. The chaos will only calm down when you start the day with awareness. Your past may have been hard, but your awakening tomorrow can open a new chapter, a chapter of presence, clarity, and decision, because the true miracle begins when you decide you will no longer wake up just to survive. You will wake up with intention. You will wake up with faith. You will wake up with God, and that changes everything. If this message touched you, write in the comments, "I am waking up to my mission." Do you want to change your life? Then start by conquering your morning. It's not in the middle of the day when everything is already in motion that an extraordinary life is built. It's at the beginning, in silence, before the world pushes you, before commitments drag you, before chaos sets in. True transformation begins when you take control of your awakening. When instead of opening your eyes and getting lost in notifications, you decide to dive inward, to quiet down, to pray, to breathe, to write, to read, to move your body, to feed your mind, to strengthen your spirit. Most people wake up late, living as if they are always trying to catch up on lost time. But those who become leaders of their own lives create time. They plant intention at the start of the day and reap clarity throughout it. Your morning can be your transformation laboratory. And here's the truth. You don't need 3 hours a day. You can start with 30 minutes. But what matters is not the amount of time. It's the intention. It's what you decide to cultivate in that small, sacred space. Imagine waking up and, before any distraction, dedicating 5 minutes to silence. Closing your eyes, breathing deeply, and simply being present. You'll notice how noisy your mind is, and with time, you'll notice how much that noise can be quieted with practice, focus, and surrender. Then, imagine declaring with conviction who you are, not who others say you are, but who God says you are. Imagine looking in the mirror and saying, "I am capable, I am guided, I am chosen, I am growing." These words are not magic. They are seeds, and everything that is repeated with faith and action blossoms. Next, visualize. Not as an escape from reality, but as faith in the form of an image. Imagine yourself making wiser decisions, speaking with more wisdom, becoming someone more grounded. See yourself through God's eyes, a son or daughter who carries power, courage, and purpose. And if you at least read one verse from the Word or one page of a good book, you will be feeding your mind with something eternal, not disposable. You stand out from the crowd that wakes up being fed by gossip, tragedies, and distractions. Writing, then, is another powerful step, putting your deepest thoughts on paper. Writing down your goals, dreams, gratitude. Recording what God has revealed to your heart. This clears the mind, organizes the soul, and strengthens the spirit. And finally, move your body. Walk for a few minutes, do a quick exercise. The body is a temple. Caring for it early in the morning is a way of telling yourself, "I honor my existence." This sequence, silence, affirmation, visualization, reading, writing, and movement, may seem too simple, but it is extremely powerful. Because it reminds you day after day that you are in control, that your mind can be shaped, that your energy can be lifted, that your faith can be renewed. The Bible shows us that even Jesus had a morning routine. In Mark 1:35, it is written, "Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where he prayed." If even the Son of God needed silence to hear the Father, why do we ignore this call? Waking up early is not just about being more productive. It's about being more present. It's about listening before reacting, praying before deciding, being before doing. Our greatest enemy today is not lack of time. It's lack of direction. We are too busy, but too empty. And it's in the morning that everything begins to be healed. You don't need to be perfect, nor do you need to do it every day from the start. You only need to decide to begin, decide to build. This daily altar that prepares your mind and your heart to live with more truth. Because when you wake up and connect with God before connecting with the world, everything changes. You begin to make better decisions. You speak with more wisdom. You act with more faith. And this small morning choice becomes the seed of great harvests in your life. Yes, it takes effort. Yes, at the beginning you will want to go back to bed. But over time, what once seemed like a sacrifice turns into pleasure. Because you will see, with your own eyes, the fruits of this decision. And do you know what the greatest secret is? It's not the time you spend, it's the spirit with which you do it. Even if it's just for 10 minutes, when done with truth, intention, and faith, God manifests himself, and everything changes. If you want to start your days in alliance with God, write in the comments, the miracle of the morning. Every morning, you are not just waking up, you are rebuilding yourself. The choices you make in the first minutes of the day are shaping something that goes far beyond your mood. They are shaping your identity. See, most people live based on what the world says they are. They listen to old voices, unresolved traumas, family criticism, and social expectations, and then, without realizing it, they begin to live from a distorted image. They react, defend themselves, shrink, all to fit into a mold that was never theirs. But there is another way. There is a life that begins when you stop trying to adapt to what others expect and start becoming who God has called you to be. This process doesn't happen all at once. It is subtle, silent, constant. It happens in small decisions, in daily habits, in the words you repeat to yourself while it is still dark outside. Do you believe in who you are becoming? Do you believe you can build a solid, strong, centered identity through discipline, faith, and practice? Because that is exactly what happens when you decide to start your mornings with intention. You are planting a new version of yourself every day. And this version is not born from the noises of the past, but from the vision of the future. When you declare, still sleepy, that you are capable, you are reprogramming your mind. When you visualize, even without having achieved it yet, you are moving by faith. When you read the Word, you are washing your soul with truth. When you write, you are organizing your mind. When you pray, you are connecting with the source of your true identity. And that identity is not weak, nor confused. It is firm, it is clear, it carries purpose. That is why Romans 12:2 teaches us, transformation begins by renewing the mind. And this only happens when you stop repeating the same unconscious routines that keep you stuck in the same place. When you decide, with courage, to be someone different, to be someone better, what is happening in your life is not just a change of habit, it is a change of identity. You are ceasing to be someone who reacts and becoming someone who chooses, from someone who hides to someone who takes a stand, from someone who lives on autopilot to someone who lives with direction. And do you know what the key is? It's that you no longer need to wait for major events to change. You only need to choose every morning who you will feed, the old you or the new you. You can wake up every day and continue to be shaped by pain, by hurry, by scarcity, and by distraction. Or you can choose to wake up and be shaped by the presence of God, by clarity of purpose, and by disciplined action. This power is in your hands. It doesn't matter what they said about you. It doesn't matter how many times you failed. What truly matters is that today you have a new chance to speak with more sincerity, to act with more purpose, to walk with more firmness. Your identity is not a label, it is a process, and every process requires practice. That's why, when you wake up and dedicate time to your sacred routine, even when you're tired, even when you don't see immediate results, you are honoring your growth. You are telling God, I believe in what you say I am, even if I don't see it yet. And you are telling yourself, I refuse to live just any way. I was created for something greater. And day by day, this choice begins shaping your behavior, your decisions, your relationships, your faith. You begin to move away from what doesn't build you up. You begin to attract what aligns with your new energy. You act like someone who knows where they came from and where they are going. And all of this because you decided to wake up differently. Because you understood that it's not about being lucky or waiting for the right moment. It's about rising, and becoming. If you are becoming the person God has called you to be, write in the comments, the miracle of the morning. Imagine what your life would be like if you woke up every day with clarity, energy, and purpose. Imagine living without hurry, but with focus, without anxiety, but with direction, without getting lost in chaos, because you already found order within yourself. Does it sound impossible? It's not. This is the reality of those who decided to take control of their mornings. This is what happens with ordinary people who one day decided they no longer wanted to live at the mercy of chance, that they would no longer start their days as victims, but as people aligned with something greater, with a divine mission. Maybe you know someone like this, or maybe you are becoming this person. They are the ones who, upon waking up, don't run straight to tasks, but first meet with God. They are the ones who start the day as if putting on invisible armor. People who shine, not out of vanity. They shine because they carry a purpose. And how did this happen? It wasn't out of nowhere. It was through a silent commitment to their own soul. It was through a small habit cultivated every day. You can be this person. In fact, if you made it this far, it's because God is calling you to it, to build a new story with discipline and faith, to use tomorrow as an altar, as a place of rebirth, as a daily starting point, where you meet with the Spirit and reconnect with the mission. There is something powerful that happens when you decide to live with purpose right when you wake up. Everything around you begins to respond to your new vibration. People show up. Opportunities appear, solutions that once seemed distant are revealed. But it's not magic, it's alignment. You begin to live the day with more peace because you already aligned yourself spiritually early in the morning. You begin to make better decisions because you already cleared your mind before the world started screaming. You begin to see answers where before there were only problems. It's as if the entire universe respected the decision you made to become someone different, and this has a spiritual foundation. See what Psalm 118:24 says, "This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." It doesn't say this will be the day or maybe one day. It says this today, the one you are living right now. Joy, change, focus, faith, it all begins in the present, not when everything gets better, but when you wake up and choose to live with intention. The miracle you've been waiting for will not fall from the sky like magic. The miracle begins when you change the way you wake up, when you dedicate the first minutes of your day to yourself, to God, and to your growth. You are telling the spiritual world, I am ready to live what God has written for me. Tomorrow, when the alarm rings, you will have a choice. The choice to remain as you are, going in circles, dragging yourself through the days, or the choice to rise with purpose, to be silent, to pray, to declare, to visualize, to write, to move, and to build with your own hands the life God has called you to live. It's not about waking up early out of vanity. It's about awakening before life passes you by. It's about making your morning a doorway to your destiny. You don't need to do everything perfectly. You only need to start with truth, because truth sets you free. And when you awaken to it early in the morning, no day can dominate you. You are the author of your routine, and your routine is the frame of your destiny. If you believe in the power of transforming your life by starting with your mornings, write in the comments, I am living the miracle of the morning.